What up, guys? The Bench Buddies are back with my week 5 preview and picks. Unfortunately, Ty won't be able to join us here in this video, but I just gave him all the favorites for his picks and then did some betting as well. But we look at last week. Ty had a great week, 5-1 for his locks. Me, not so much, 2-4. The Nebraska, Illinois over and the Tennessee covered. But other than that, really missed on a lot where Ty made his mark. And then this week, I'm going with Rutgers -1 against Washington. That's currently being played right now. Oklahoma State +5 at Kansas State. Louisville +7 at Notre Dame. Fresno State +2.5 at UNLV. Duke -2.5 versus UNC in a big rivalry game. And Illinois +18 at Penn State. So I'm going with some road dogs here, as you know, this week it seems like it's a good week to do so. And then for ties, you can see ties 5 there where I just threw those together, maybe some bet T would take. So I threw in the Michigan for sure. And then we look at last week's results. Not really too good on my part. Ty did all right. Not one of our better weeks that we've seen from recent weeks this year. But we look to bounce back and even had some extra games here that we threw in at the end. It was a good week, though, of college football. But hopefully we can start off with a win here tonight. Rutgers, we both took Rutgers. Against Washington. It is a great game going on right now because it's 3-0 last time I checked in the second quarter. So it is a low scoring affair. But hopefully Rutgers can pull it out and get to 4-0. Then Saturday, Minnesota, Michigan. Today, actually, when you're seeing this video, both of us are obviously Michigan fans, so we're both going to go Michigan here. But they got to figure out the quarterback. Maybe this is the game where Alex Orji opens it up and throws some deep passes, really gets the passing game going. Hopefully that's the case because we can't just have Michigan run the ball every time and depend on it every single game. And this is a big game for both these teams in the Big 12. Oklahoma State and Kansas State looking to bounce back after some losses last week. And whoever loses this game is probably falling out of the rankings as well. I'm going with Oklahoma State here because, well, the Cowboys, they have the better player on the field in Ollie Gordon. He wasn't used much last week. And if he can be used this week, then I think they can come away with a huge road win and put them right back in that college football playoff conversation. Indiana, Maryland, and I think this game is going to go under the radar because it is not one of those typical games that you're looking to see here. But Maryland, Indiana, I think Indiana, the Hoosiers are going to get it done and go to 5-0. And if that's the case, I think Indiana could be a team in the Big Ten that I think they're going to be that team that no one saw coming. There's one every year in the Big Ten that isn't a top three, top four team that somehow ends up a top three, top four team. And right now, on paper, it looks like Indiana if they can keep on winning. Moving to 3:30, you got Louisville, Notre Dame. Going with Notre Dame here because I think this team is built for these kind of games. Yeah, they lost to Northern Illinois, but that's old news. This team looks way better now. Riley Leonard's playing better football, and that's all that matters. I think even with Louisville and Ryan Shaw and how they're playing some football over these last few years, I think this is a game that Notre Dame has to have. And if they get this win, I think that college football playoff case goes right back up to where it was at the beginning of the season, that it seems like Notre Dame's going to get there. 3:30, you got Arkansas, Texas A&M, a good SEC game here. It is a close one. They're projecting 5.5 points as a spread for A&M. Going with A&M here, strictly based on the fact it is a home game, and in the SEC, home games do matter. And I think the Aggies, they can get it done here. Even with their loss to Notre Dame early in the year, I think this A&M team is actually a very good football team. And talk about controversy, confusion. UNLV has it all this week. Their quarterback sitting out, running back sitting out because of NIL disputes. And for that case, I'm going with Fresno State here, just strictly based on that fact. They're only lost to Michigan in the Big House. And this is one of the better Mountain West games you'll probably see all year. And give me the Bulldogs on the road. At 4, you get the Battle of North Carolina, Duke, and I'm going with Duke at home. I think this team is ready to break out and be one of those teams in the ACC that can be really good. If they get to 5-0, they're definitely going to be ranked next week, and they're definitely going to be in the conversation for the ACC championship when it's all said and done, probably playing against Miami. But this is a huge game this week, obviously the rivalry. But if you can stay undefeated, beat your rival at this point in the season, it's looking pretty promising. Then at 7:30, obviously the biggest game of the week. I'm going with Georgia on the road. Yeah, I know Kirby Smart's 1-5 against Alabama. Got to get that out of the way, but it's a new era at Alabama. Kalen DeBoer's there, Saban's gone, And Georgia, well, they have the better quarterback in this one by a slight margin. I like Beck better than Milrow. And for that case, I got to go with Georgia here on the road. But regardless, I just hope this is a very good game and it comes down to the last second. And a game that I think will be a lot better than people anticipate. That 18-point spread, I don't like that at all for Penn State. I love the Illinois plus 18. This Illinois team has proven time and time again that they can compete with better teams, and it goes down to the wire. Michigan last year or a few years ago, they took them to the wire. Just obviously pulled off a huge upset against Nebraska. And I think Illinois can come in here and cover, that's for sure. Win, I don't know, because it is going to be a tough environment to play in Happy Valley. So I am going to go with Penn State as the pick here, but I wouldn't be surprised if Illinois keeps this a game late until the fourth. And at 10 o'clock, you got Washington State, Boise State. Good game out west. Put the new Pac-12 teams in the near future are going to play against each other here. And I got Washington State on the road. I think the Cougars are going to move to 5-0. Boise State is a very good football team, but I just think in this one, Washington State has a really good chance at being a surprise team this year. Obviously, so does Boise State coming out of the Mountain West. But Washington State, I think, with everything that happened last year, them and Oregon State, the only two teams in the Pac-12, wouldn't it be great if Washington State just played really good football this year and they had a Pac-12 team in the college football playoff? Then at 10:15, you got a battle in the Big 12, old Pac-12 members, Arizona, Utah. I like the Utes at home after what they did last week against Oklahoma State. Kind of solidified for me at least that yeah, they're the best team probably in the Big 12. And Arizona, after their loss, it's kind of concerning. These two teams are trending in two different directions, and I think it's only going to get worse for Arizona and get better for Utah. And even with Cam Rising, without him, whatever happens with Utah, they still find ways to win games. That's going to be it from our week 5 preview and picks. Check back next week when Ty will be joining us here. But until next time, Bench Buddies are out.